What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dudes Who Bet Daily, September 10th, 2022. Footballs are already in the air across the country. We've got a couple bets early. I've got some money on Missouri. I've got some money on Duke. I've got Alabama points over here. Aaron, did you bet anything early?
Alabama minus 13.5 yesterday for the first half. I bet that one 100%. I think you're going to see a murder in Austin today. I think Alabama will show everybody that Texas still has a ways to go. I'm interested in that Missouri-Kansas State game. I did not bet it, but I think that's a really interesting game. Kind of mid-tier teams in the SEC and Big 12 kind of going to compare there. I don't know, maybe the SEC would say, no, Missouri's a lower-tier team, but K-State a mid-tier team for the Big 12. So we'll see what happens in that one.
Yeah, as a Tiger alum, I appreciate the mid-tier comment there. We're definitely not mid-tier, but I do appreciate it. I took them win the points in the first half, +4. Some of these games aren't off, so if you do want to play any of them, you can kind of try and lock them in right now. We've got a huge show, so we're going to get right into it. We're first going to talk about Kentucky and Florida, down in Gainesville. The biggest game of the day here, the SEC opener for both of these teams. We saw an absolute coming-out party for the Florida quarterback there, week one, taking down the Utah team. Aaron, what are you looking for tonight in this game? Where you're leaning? You're going to play it at all, or are you just going to pass on this one and watch it?
I'm just going to watch this one. I will be at the OU game, unfortunately, when this one is happening, so I won't be able to watch it. And that's the one bad thing about going to all the OU games. You do miss some great games like this one. If you've kind of not been paying attention, this has turned into quite a rivalry between these two teams. It's always a close game. Florida's had their number forever, but the last couple of years, Kentucky's been able to turn the tables. Kentucky has Will Levis at quarterback. He's kind of catapulted them into just an average team to where they're a little bit above average. This is going to be a hell of a game. I lean Florida because Florida was able to beat Utah week one. I happen to think Utah is one of the better teams in the country, so I think the swamp and the home advantage is going to push Florida over the top here, but this is a good quarterback they're going to have to play tonight. We'll see. Billy Napier, new coach in Florida, big win for week one, and this would be equally as big for week two because they're in the conference.
Absolutely monster win. And the swamp is going to be rocking again. I don't think people respect how loud that place can get. Back in the Spurrier days, that was one of the toughest places to play. And as they get better, I assume that will continue to happen there as well. I kind of lean the under. These two teams, Kentucky specifically, likes to run the ball and play some defense. I think that's what they're going to try and do, shortening the game down there in Florida. So I'll lean the under 52. If I bet the game, that's where I'll bet it. But I haven't put anything in yet. Magic, any interest in the SEC opener here? Or you want to just talk about some racing?
Dude, I only care about football north of the border.
I love it. All right, let's go to Del Mar then. Let's go to Magic's hometown. You got your own horse running today, right? In the grade one?
Who? What?
Vegas Magic.
Oh,
Del
sorry.
Mar Come on, man.
It's a little early for me. Sorry. No, Del Mar debutante. I'm hoping we get to. It should be pretty fast today. I know yesterday the rain hit Del Mar pretty good, but I think they'll be good fast dirt today. Definitely for the futurity tomorrow. This is an interesting one. I went with the 6 home cooking to Bob Baffert. It's not sexy, but this filly was the 1-2 favorite when she debuted, and then she got into a pace duel, and then she got her butt beat by a horse named Justique, who is one of the best looking fillies we've seen on the coast so far at H2. She's waiting for the Chandelier. Home cooking bounced right back out of that and had a very nice win second out. She ran that first race like a horse that needed 2 turns. I think 7 furlongs is much better than the 5.5 that she was going before. I went with that one. I know that Baffert's got a couple in here, but I went with home cooking on top, guys.
Aaron, did you end up with home cooking as well? Or did you look somewhere else?
No, I went home cooking as well. I think she's awfully good. I thought she was awfully good on debut. She just kind of went too fast early, got beat by a couple of nice horses. But really, you see Bob Baffert sometimes with these runners when they lose and then they pop next time out. They end up maybe in some cases being better than the ones that he wins first out with. So I really liked how she looked. I think she's going to win here. Your horse Magic, the one horse named after you, maybe is the biggest challenger, but I think home cooking is just a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm on home cooking as well. I'm not in love with Vegas Magic here. I went in other spots in both the second and third place. I think you got to take a long look at Ice Dancing, the 8 horse out of the Mandela barn. Runs third on debut. but the upgrade from Mike Smith to Flavian Pratt, I think, is massive there for ice dancing. If that horse breaks at all, I think ice dancing could be a pretty big threat. Did either of you consider, well, Magic, we'll start with you. Did you consider ice dancing at all?
Yeah. I know I had a big trip note on her debut race. She was pretty slow out of the gate, was 3-4 wide through the entire turn. You talk about the jockey upgrade. I say this all the time with Mike Smith. When he's on a maiden that doesn't break cleanly and it's not a Bob Baffert horse, he's mostly out there to just learn what the horse is good at and try and give it an education. That's exactly what happened here. You look at the breeding by Frosted out of a Henny Hughes mare, should be able to handle 7 furlongs, but Flavian Pratt is picking up a couple of interesting mounts this weekend. If you remember last time he showed up to Del Mar for a day, he just went, by the way, I'm still the best one out here in case you forgot. I think he's going to do the same thing again today.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting day over at Del Mar. Kevin O bringing up the 6th race real quick, and this is one we should probably touch on as well before we jump over to Kentucky Downs. 6th race featuring, we'll see if Hijazi draws in the 11 horse, $3.5 million horse, but you got Fort Bragg debuting for Bob Baffert with Hernandez up, the 9 horse sitting at 2-1. You got Gun Bullet coming out of the Sadler barn that I've actually heard a little bit of buzz about, a $500,000 gun runner horse. And then you got Baffert with another in here as well, the 4 Speedboat Beach, a Bayern that went for $200,000, and Bayern stands for $7,500. So that's a heck of an overlay. Aaron, did you have any interest here in the 6th race? Who do you like?
Absolutely loaded race, without any doubt. I think Hijazi has the typical second out. Baffert going to improve, just like Home Cooking did second out. If he draws in, I think he'll be tough. However, I am going to pick Fort Bragg if he doesn't. I've heard a lot of good things about him. Usually when you hear good things about Baffert horses, they run pretty well on their debuts at Del Mar. So you do have to take that into consideration. But Somich, I was with you when I handicapped this race a couple of days ago. I thought, man, that one could run. That one might have a chance to be pretty good. So there was a maiden race last week. Can't remember. It was on Saturday. Can't remember what race it was. Jared had the winner, but we were talking about it. And it's like, I think there could be 3 stakes horses out of that maiden. Wouldn't surprise me if there's a couple out of this one as well.
Yeah, this is
that was actually, sorry, that was race 6 at Del Mar last week. 5.5 furlong or 6.5 furlong that National Treasure won. Yes. National Treasure and Fort Bragg been working right together in the mornings.
National Treasure 5-1 on the morning line went off at 3-1. You got 3-1 on them because of the depth of that race. You're going to get some overlays here. If it's not Fort Bragg, if neither Baffert wins this race, you're going to get a nice price on whoever the other horse is, and maybe even the other Baffert in here. That Bayern that I mentioned, Speedboat Beach will probably be an overlay on that number because of Fort Bragg and Hijazi in here as well. All right, let's jump over. Yeah, $200K for a Bayern. That's what caught my eye too. All right, let's jump over to Kentucky Downs. We're going to talk about 2 of the 6 graded stakes races over there. Monster card from Kentucky Downs, 3 pick 5s, a ton of pick 4s. Bunch of stakes races, and we're going to start in the 9th race, the Turf Sprint, which is wildly difficult race in my mind. Aaron, I know you disagree here. You like the favorite on top. You want to tell us a little about Arrest Me Red?
Well, I just don't understand why you always hate on Arrest Me Red. I just don't know what the horse has ever done to you. And listen, here's the thing about him.
Beaten me multiple times. That's what he's done to me.
Well, that's your own fault. No, listen, here's the deal. I can't believe you still don't like him after he ran second to your boy Casa Creed last time out. When he lost that race, I thought, he should have won that. But listen, this Casa Creed is in tremendous form. He backed it up in a big way, winning the 4-star Dave. I just think Arrest Me Red, it's very simple in this race. He's better than the rest of this field. Yeah, it's Kentucky Downs. That's a question mark for everybody. But, maybe he doesn't take to the surface, and that could happen. But I think he's way better than the rest of these horses. I think he's been facing much better. I think he just has to show up and run his race. He's going to win this one.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely faced better last time. I'm hoping that this 12 post is a problem. The Kentucky Downs is really funky from 6 furlongs. You're breaking almost on the turn. So he's going to be 7, 8 wide early in that first turn. I'm hoping that makes the difference. And this is all the course. I think he wants that 5.5, 6 furlong distance. This is more like a 6.5 furlong race. And then the outside, I'm hoping that extra quarter of a furlong stretches him out. I'm trying to make excuses for why this horse is going to lose. But man, dude, Kentucky Downs is wildly difficult. Magic, did you end up with a Arrest Me Red on top here? Or did you go somewhere else?
I did not on top in this spot. When we were previewing this for the website, you and I both really liked Arzak a lot. My top pick was the 2 Chewing Gum, and I'm looking at the scratches now. Artemis City Limits is drawing in Gaffleon riding for Maker. The pace just got a lot more interesting because now Arrest Me Red has speed outside and inside of him. when he breaks from that outside spot. Yeah, my top pick is still going to be 2 Chewing Gum. Rosario is the king of Kentucky Downs when he shows up. And you remember last year, I think he rode twice and just completely dominated both days. Ran well in previous races, won the Hernandez Stakes back at Santa Anita. Now he's second off the layoff after facing that really tough field of Ariana at Woodbine. So I think that the distance is good for him. I think second off the layoff and getting Rosario, that's what sealed it for me.
Yeah, I looked at this horse as well. I think Chewing Gum's got a big shot. We'll see if Rosario is able to get him forward. I'm going with Arzak, the 5 in this spot. I really like what this horse has done at 4. I thought that effort in the Troy was absolutely monstrous. Hopefully we can take a step forward. I think Kimura coming down from Toronto also kind of tips the hand that they believe this horse is going to absolutely roll. So I'm going to go with the 5 Arzak in here, and what's a wide open race. Let's jump one race further in the card. We'll talk about the Grade 2 Turf Cup, and after that one was wide open, this one doesn't seem quite as wide open. It looks like a 2-horse race here between Arklow, the 4-horse, and the 8 Gufo, who is coming back on shorter rest. Aaron, where'd you end up on top?
I went with Arklow, and I don't love it, but I just kind of felt like you look at this horse, it's really incredible. The 5th straight year he's been in this race. He won 2 of them. He was second in the other 2. He's an incredible horse. I thought he was done. I didn't know if he was even in training. He shows up at Saratoga. He ran pretty well off the bench. You got to think second off the bench, he's going to run even better today. I do not want to choke down even money on Gufo outside of Saratoga. I just cannot do it. He might win, but I can't do it. So I'm gonna get the hometown horse here in Arklow, and I usually don't pick this horse, but I just feel like he's coming into the race great, and this is his track. There needs to be a statue of this horse outside the Kentucky Downs.
Hopefully they give him a race named after him once he retires. Like you got the 4-star Dave up at Saratoga. They could rename this the Arklow, and that would be pretty cool.
The Arklow Turf Cup. It's perfect.
There we go. Magic, you were talking about how Gufo, or Clement was saying Gufo was banging the stable down. That's why he's entered here. We haven't seen Gufo come back on this short of rest before. Does it concern you at all, or does the comments from Clement kind of set your mind at ease?
That's the thing. It's Clement saying it, and it seems like he's never aggressive with a grade 1 type or multiple grade 1 winner like this. So again, Rosario picks up the mount. He must have come out of that well. And Clement even said, like, if you look at Gufo's path last year to the Breeders' Cup, won the Sword Dancer, went to the Joe Hirsch Turf Classic at Belmont, and then the Breeders' Cup. This year, the Turf Classics at Aqueduct, Clement still said it's in play. He's like, it still gives me time to go back and do that one. I'm like, this is a multiple grade 1 winner who, like, you really need to get him ready for the Breeders' Cup, and you're throwing all these extra races in at the end. Like, this is counterintuitive to how you normally prep for a Breeders' Cup. So doing these things, it's like, God, it's like the horse is forcing him to do it. And he's like, I have to do it.
Yeah, you really feel like this horse is just ready to set on a big one. And you would expect the Kentucky Downs would be a good course for Gufo, who is going to want to come from off the pace. And it has a long stretch, that sweeping turn. Rosario really shouldn't get in trouble. We'll just say shouldn't here with Gufo. And that's generally the reason why this horse has some issues, is that, he's too far back or there's too much trouble. So you'd think it sets up for well, but I'm going to agree with Aaron. I'm going to put Arklow on top here, go for a little bit of an upset. Hopefully he can pull it off. And I'm just not willing to choke down that even money price either, Aaron. Magic, you going with Gufo? You going Arklow, or are you going somewhere else?
I went Arklow on top. I went 3 deep on the Magic Mike show. The other one I used was Red Knight. Maker's got 4 in here. I think this is his best chance. If you look at his past performances, everything reads like he's been with Maker his whole life, not just one start. So the fact he was doing what he did with Bill Mott, which no knock on Bill Mott, but 1.5-mile turf distance horses aren't always his specialty. That's exactly Maker's with this 8-year-old. So Red Knight, if he's close to 15-1, I'm going to have to put some money on him to win. It's too much value.
Yeah, I'll throw another mystery in there and play the super with the 4 that we've discussed, because with another mystery ran right behind him, loves that 1.5-mile distance. All right, let's jump into the best bets here. We're already running long for the dudes who bet daily here. Let's kick it off with Magic's best bet. Tell us a little bit about why the Elks are going to get slayed tonight.
Yeah, they're going to get stampeded. I love it. So last week, Calgary was hosting Edmonton. They had 11.5 point spread. They missed. I think they ended up covering by error. The spread ended up being 8. Here we're getting 8.5. It's a better one. Calgary's, on the road. Edmonton hasn't won a home game since 2019. They're 0-5 against the spread at home. When I picked Ottawa to upset them a couple of weeks ago, a big reason is because Edmonton, it sucks dick at home. Like, they're terrible. So, listen, you also have a quarterback, Taylor Cornelius, quarterback for Edmonton. the last week against Calgary, biggest game of his career, throws for 300 yards. Calgary's offense was a little thrown off. I think they were a little like, what the hell is this going on with this guy? We're going to have some regression from Edmonton's quarterback back to being pretty pedestrian. And then positive regression, I think, is the term, Mike, for Calgary. Their offense is usually clicking at almost 400 yards a game, and they barely got 300 last time. Edmonton's got the worst statistical defense in the entire league. Calgary's only been beaten by Winnipeg, Winnipeg Blue Bombers 3 times this season, and then a very small loss. So Calgary is the second best team in the league. The Elks are the second worst. It's a lot of points, but I've got to do it.
I like it. Let's lay it. Let's see if we can get Calgary home. Go for 2 in a row here for Magic in the CFL. Let's jump over to Papa Dude's bet here. I'm going to let Aaron talk a little bit about this one since he's staying away from it, and then we'll talk about how this got to -3. So, Aaron, you want to take it away?
Yeah, this is actually going to be an interesting discussion and something that looks like, wow, I'm going to follow this game now, and I didn't care about it 2 seconds ago. So Papa Dude texted me this morning. He said, I'm taking Nevada -4.5. And I said, there's no way they're -4.5. Like, you've read it wrong. There's no chance because they're playing Incarnate Word at a FCS school. And I looked and I'm like, damn, they are -4.5. And actually they're -4 now. He's like, even better. They're all the way down to 3. So this line moved from 5 to 3. Papa Dude's like, look, I'm getting -3 on Nevada, who's 2-0, and they're taking on an FCS school, and it's at Nevada, obviously. So I'm taking it, and if I miss it, the hell with it. But we did some digging, Somich, and there's something interesting going on with this line.
Yeah, I got a couple people that bet FCS quite a bit, and so I reached out to one of them, and they actually their group has Incarcerate Word as a 1-point favorite in this game against Nevada in their models, and the largest syndicate in Las Vegas is the one that moved this from +5 to +3, hammering it all the way down in multiple books. So Papa Dude going against the largest syndicate in Las Vegas here. And when you sent this line, I was like, no, this can't be right. Who are they playing? And I immediately sent the "it's a trap" gift from the Star Wars, because there's no way. This is the line that everyone will go and look at the board and be like, oh, Nevada laying 3-2. Who? Yeah, I'll lay that, right? It's going to be really interesting to see how this game plays out. I'm not going to touch this game. The fact that it's 3 scares the crap out of me, and going against this syndicate generally doesn't work out very well for you. But I understand Papa Dude's thinking here, because you do have a very good Nevada team last year, who's not as good this year, at home against an FCS school. This one's just a very good FCS school, so we'll see what happens in this game. It's going to be an interesting one to watch and follow, as you mentioned.
I can't wait when he gets here. He's coming to my house right now. We're going to the game. I cannot wait to tell him this, because he will not care one bit about anything you just said.
Not a little. I don't care. Not even a little.
No. So the fact that he's going against this big syndicate is pretty much perfect. So he will be very excited to follow this one for sure.
All right, let's head over to my best bet here. I'm going to lay the 13.5 with West Virginia today against Kansas. Look, Kansas looked phenomenal against an FCS school at home last week. I thought West Virginia actually looked really good against Pittsburgh last week. They ran the ball effectively. They did what they needed to do through the air. They would have won that game if it weren't for that late interception. I thought they were going to get the ball down and get a field goal. Now they're going home. I think the Mountaineer crowd is going to be absolutely riled up and rocking for this game. Kansas is bad. Don't be fooled by a 55-10 win over a terrible team. Kansas is bad. I think the 13.5 here is what you're looking for. This line started to move right before we were going on the show. You can still get 13.5 at Bookmaker. I would recommend you find a 13.5 versus a 14. It's going to be 14 across the board, maybe 14.5 by the time they kick this off. So make sure you put it in early versus around that 4 o'clock kickoff. Aaron, you mentioned you like this West Virginia side as well.
I do. Yeah, I think 13.5 is kind of a weird line there. I think it should be a little bit higher. West Virginia is a really tough place to play, actually. A lot of people may not realize that. It's tough to go in there and win, especially when they're decent. I'm with you. I thought they were the better team in that Pittsburgh game last week. Should have won it for sure and just made too many mistakes. A lot of those mistakes were forced by Pittsburgh. I don't see Kansas forcing those turnovers this week. So, yeah, I like that.
I got to say, my favorite message I got from anyone this morning, from our boy JD Fox, who told me I need to start betting college volleyball. I was so proud of him when I saw that one. That was great. So
JD!
What's up, JD? Appreciate you chiming in. And JD knows quite a bit about the FCS world in Nevada as well. He likes that Nevada pick too. So JD on Nevada as well. I love seeing that. All right, we're going to close the show with Aaron's best bet. We're going to head back over to Del Mar on a football Saturday. Aaron taking one of the ponies. Tell us a little about the 8 in the first race.
Well, first of all, I love that it's JD and Papa Dude versus the Vegas Syndicate. I mean, this is the storyline that when I woke up this morning, I did not think we would get, but we've got it, and I'm excited, and I'm here for it. All right, let's go now to Del Mar today. I'm going to go the very first race. I'm going to go with the number 8, Moraweth. First off the claim for Doug O'Neill, so that's positive number 1. Number 2, if you're a time form speed figure guy, he simply looks like the fastest horse in the race. Number 3, he's 3-1, so he is not the favorite. I like that as well. Number 4, the favorite has lost 8 straight races, including against this company last time out. The other challengers in the race, they leave a little bit to be desired. Moraweth's moving up in class. Last time out ran in a 32 claimer and got claimed, like I said, by O'Neill. I think first off the claim for O'Neill, running this horse protected. I think this horse is going to be tough to beat here. I think he stalks the pace and wins it. Right now, I'm looking at the live betting. He's 5-2, so he's not getting pounded. I don't know. I just thought we're going to get value on this horse. I think we're going to get maybe 2-1, 5-2 once it's post time. I think he's going to show big improvement. I think he's going to win this thing.
I like the pick, man. There's that race 3 back just towers over this field, facing law-abiding Citizen, who would be a very short price in this race. C's Get Degrees, actually a pretty good claimer there in California as well. And you didn't even mention the jockey upgrade. I mean, going from Flo to Rispoli is massive there for him as well. Magic, did you look at the first race? Any opinion here?
Boy, yeah, that's it. I'm trying to figure out the actual price that you're going to get right now. That because it's the first race, you can bet he's 5-2, but yeah, it's a great pick, Aaron. I mean, this is a bad field.
To jump in, even if he wasn't first off the claim for O'Neill, you'd still think he's got a shot, right? Because like you just said, this for a starter allowance at Del Mar is about as bad as you're going to get. And so if this horse can't win in the spot, he ain't ever going to win a starter allowance. So I'm with you. Like I just think he towers over the field.
You love the setup too. I mean, both the 6 and the 7 should go. You should be able to sit right behind him. I sit too wide around that turn, I'm guessing, and be able to make a nice move, get the lead early in the lane, and hopefully hold on. So yeah, I'm on the 8 here as well. Good pick, Aaron. Hopefully we can get close to that 3-1 price. I do think that is a pretty darn good price here. All right, anything else that you want to chime in, Aaron or Magic here before we head off?
I got nothing. What's Alabama doing? Are they ahead?
There's 3 CFL games. The first kickoff is at 11 a.m. Pacific. I am ready.
I love it. Magic's going to be following CFL all day. Aaron and I will be watching an FCS versus a college football game. You're going to Oklahoma game today. Are they going to roll?
Oh yeah, I guess I should chime in on that. I think Kevin O asked the question. Now the Sooners can they cover? The line's 33.5. I think it'll be right around that line. I do think OU will cover. Very similar team to what they played last week in UTEP, and they were able to cover. I think OU will play a little bit better. I think it'll be a fairly boring game. Should be another easy win before we have to go to Nebraska next week.
Yeah, I like Oklahoma first half. I think they're going to be on the gas early, and then you might see them take it off a little bit late. So I think I'm going to probably end up playing Oklahoma first half there. That offense should be better. They had a couple drives that stalled out in the first half, or else they would have absolutely blown out UTEP quickly early in that game. Bama up 3-0 early, but Texas with the ball and driving, by the way, Aaron. So there is a little bit of movement there. All right, let's jump into the best bets of the day here. Magic going with Calgary minus 8.5. Aaron going to the 8 horse in the first race at Del Mar, currently sitting on the board at 3-1. Papa Dude taking Nevada minus 3 against the Syndicate. I'm going to take West Virginia minus 13.5, minus 114 at home against Kansas. Hopefully we cover these easy. We're 6-5 for the week, plus $35, up $2,185 on the show's history. And that's with $100 base bets. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow to talk the first NFL Sunday of the year. Let's go. I can't wait. Thank you very much for joining us. We will see everybody soon. There it is.